Well, good evening, everybody. This is Jim O'Hickey, and I'm just excited to be on here tonight. This is the Bravenly Men's Call, and Marcy and I live in Naples, Florida. And tonight you're going to hear from some champion men. You're going to hear from some champion men that decided in this season of life, as we're heading into the football season, they decided in this season in life that they were going to make a difference. They decided this season in life that they were going to change their destiny with one decision. They were going to let their work ethic determine their paycheck. And I'm excited for you to hear from every one of them tonight. But before to go to them, I just want to tell you a little bit about Marcy and our story. 30 years ago, Marcy and I got into the network marketing industry. And this is where we were back in that day. I was a corporate executive in the television industry in Dallas, Texas, corporate vice president. Marcy was a personal trainer and a gym owner in Dallas. And when we married each other, we married two things, each other and each other's debt. And we had two car notes. We had a house note. We had 60,000 on credit cards. We had zero time together as husband and wife, zero time with our kids. Maybe, just maybe, you're in a similar situation. Maybe you can relate to what I just said. And we didn't have a plan. We had no plan to get out of that situation. So it was, I'd see that bumper sticker in front of me on LBJ Freeway every day when I went to work. I owe, so off to work I go. No plan, no hope to get out of that situation. Then all of a sudden, we saw people paying off debt, going on vacations, buying brand new cars, getting ahead in life. And we're like, wait a minute, we got to find out what they're doing. So we asked a friend of ours what he was doing, and he said, network marketing, man. Well, we looked for a company that would align with our goals, look for a company that would align with our values. That company had to be a company where the owner was Christian, the products worked, and the marketing plan paid. And we found a company that did that, and we jumped in and we went to work. And we worked it hard. And guess what? The first few years, we paid off the car notes. Then we paid off the 60K on the credit cards. Then we paid off the house. And we worked that business for 23 years. We were in that industry. And several of those years were seven-figure years to the point where we were able to retire to Naples, Florida back in 2019. And that's what we stayed for 4 years. We were retired. And but what we missed about this industry is the ability to pour into people, to help people get ahead in life financially, to help people become more. So we missed the industry. But once again, there wasn't a company out there. We didn't think there'd ever be another company out there that aligned with our values. And so Marcy used to say, after 4 years in Naples, Florida, you can only go to the beach so many times. There's only so much gardening you can do, only so much time you can go and spend in the gym. So we were looking for something because we missed the industry. And our phone rang one day, and it was a friend out of Dallas, Texas. And he said, hey, you got to look at Bravenly Global. I go, why do I need to look at Bravenly Global? Because this guy had called me with several companies over those 4 years. I go, why do I got to look at Bravenly Global? He said, because it checks your boxes. It hits those non-negotiables that you said were non-negotiables. And I said, well, what are my non-negotiables? He said, you said that the owners had to be Christian, the products had to work and taste good, and the marketing plan had to pay. And that's Bravenly Global. And by the way, he said, there's a Zoom tomorrow night. Jump on that Zoom and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we jumped on that Zoom. We jumped on that Zoom, and it just so happened that the owner of the company, Aspen Emery, closed out that Zoom. She closed out that Zoom, and Marcy and I looked at each other afterward, and I said, what'd you think? And she goes, that company is the only one I would ever look at. She goes, not only does it check our boxes, but that lady is a champion. She's going places. She's a visionary. That's the only company that I'd sink our teeth into, and that's the only one I think we should join. Well, guess what? The next day, we became brand partners in Bravenly Global. We became brand partners and placed our legacy pack. And over the last 3.5 years, it's brought in great income. We've met a lot of great people on our team and a lot of great people throughout this company. But it's paid us a six-figure income for the last 2 years. Imagine if you're retired like I was, if you could bring in another six-figure income while you're retired. Or maybe you're someone that's not retired, but what if you could bring in a six-figure income part-time and keep doing what you're doing? That's possible here at Bradenly Global. We're going to come out of this share, and I'm going to take this call, this Zoom, if you will, and we're going to take this Zoom to North Carolina. Now, he's not a North Carolina fan. He is a, whoop, I'm getting a sign here. Oh, my wife wants to be made a co-host. My apologies, guys. Well, I sure don't know how to do that, so here we go. There she is. She's a co-host. Great. All right. Sorry about that, guys. But I was introing my man, Coach Mike Papa. Mike's a former high school football coach. He's in North Carolina. He's not a Tar Heel. He's a Notre Dame Irish. Coach, take it away, buddy.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Well, I'm honored to be part of this group. Listen, you know, you will hear me talk about legacy and leadership, and you're going to see these guys. I'm just lucky to be part of this panel. Um, my name is Coach Pepa. A lot of people call me Big Papa. A lot of you know my beautiful champion wife, Gloria. She is she's the boss lady in my marriage, which is awesome. But I am from the state of North Carolina. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, though, so you will know that Penn State, but my school is Notre Dame. That is my college of choice. So that's my favorite college. But anyway, Jim did introduce me as a former football coach. I am a former football coach of uh, teams in Pennsylvania and Maryland. I am wearing a championship ring that I did in Maryland. So as a former football coach, I was fortunate enough to be part of championship teams. And I learned time ago that winning doesn't just happen by accident. And it takes discipline, commitment, teamwork, accountability, and the willingness to help the person next to you get better. As a coach, that is the mainstay of how we build championship teams. How do we build in the trenches? How do we get the person on the field better? Football equates, it's not an individual sport. That's what I love. It is getting a group of 11 guys on the field working as a unit, moving the ball, moving the chains up and down the field. That is what excites me as a coach. And that is what, I see in Bravenly. I know a winner when I see one, and Bravenly is a winning team. And yes, we have great products. Gloria and I, that made a huge difference in what we have done in our health journey. But, what really brought us to Bravenly is the income opportunity and, the opportunity to earn additional income and get ahead in life. That is what really is the draw of one of the mainstays of Bravenly. And the opportunity to make that extra income and why it helps us pay for gas, groceries, games, and gifts. We call it the 4G network. You know, those are the things that are making our lives in this world. The price is going up, everything goes up, and the economy and all that stuff. Having that opportunity to have that extra income to do just the basic things in life makes a world of difference. So as we head into fall and the holiday season, it comes to mind that, we are looking for ways to create extra income and to make a difference in weekly and our monthly budgets. Income can help with cash Christmas. Listen, Christmas is coming around the corner, and Gloria always calls me Mr. Santa Claus, and if I could have a Christmas room in my house, I would definitely do that all the time. But to be able to have a cash Christmas and not rack up credit card bills every year at Christmas time would make a world of difference, and that's what we do. You know, it's just not about football. We don't do it alone. So we are locking arms with legendary leadership. Jim O'Hickey is our leadership, Ricky, Glenn, Tim. There's so many more other legendary leaders here in Bravenly. And that's what we love, because that team around us makes us better. And we are locking arms with our team. And what I love about what we do, guys, it's this. We are helping them reach their goals, their dreams, and helping them achieve their purpose. That is our heart. And that is why we are part of Bravenly. And Bravenly, to me, this in a very simple way is this. We are difference makers, and we make a difference. And that is what excites me, everything about Bravenly. And I know we're not talking about products, but you know the products are incredible. But this opportunity, if you whoever brought you on this call, guys, get with them because this is what it's. I call it the serving heart. You have that, you will be able to take Bravenly to the next level. So, Jim, I'll send that back to you. Thank you.
I'll just jump in here for a second. I wanted to touch on what he just said. We're in this to help people get better. A good coach does that. He looks at a player and he sees that player's ability and he helps that player draw out of himself to the best of his ability so he can become more. Now, we're going to take this call, we're going to take it to the Bengal Tiger state of Louisiana, where Mr. Glenn Rollins, an executive vice president, and he did that, by the way, in just 11 months. He's a champion in this company. He's going to share his heart with you. Glenn?
Hey, thank you for the introduction, and thank you, Coach Papa, for your amazing story. But hey, guys, thank you for being on. I like how Michael talked about a championship ring. So if anybody's married, I got a championship ring on right here. He just made me think of that. But I am a champion husband because of this opportunity, right? It's allowed me to be physically and financially free and all that stuff, which I'll get into. But my championship ring is right here, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Bravenly. Another thing I want to address, that photo that you guys were sent, it looks like I was catfish, so I apologize for that. So anyways, I apologize for that. But one other thing before we get started, real men do Bravenly. So I see a lot of men on here, and a lot of people think the nowhere marketing is just about females. And guys, there's some phenomenal leaders. Crystal, I'm looking at Crystal shaking her head. Some of the best leadership female wise in the entire industry is in this company. But we're not, I love this company because it's men and women with one purpose to help change as many lives as possible. So a little bit about me. I'm an executive vice president here at Bravenly Global. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm a husband. I've been here 4 years and 3 months. I've been here for a while. I'm a disabled Army vet, so if there's any veterans, shout out to you guys. I was a professional college student for a hot minute. I had 7 years. I had accrued about $90,000 in student loan debt. I was working 2 jobs when I found the industry. So when I found the industry, I was really skeptical because I didn't have the time. I didn't have the money, guys. I had negative $165 in my bank account. And I was like, dude, I don't have the money. I don't have the time to do this. Like, no way. But I was showed the opportunity. I got started on the products. It completely changed my life. And I was told a couple things when I started. First of all, we want to get our own testimony and our own story and all that good stuff. But they said, Glenn, this isn't about sales. You want to think, who can you help physically and financially? That's what we think with our heart. Who can we help? Not who can we sell to? And then we pass the ball off to our leaders. So whoever invited you to this call, this is college football stuff. All they really did is pass the football off to us, and it's our job to score a touchdown. That's all I've done since the very beginning. So I'm going to fast forward to right before I joined Bravenly, y'all, and just kind of share a little bit about what it's done for me and why I joined this company. Guys, when I joined Bravenly, I was 3 months behind on my mortgage. I don't know if anybody of you have ever been there, but I almost lost my house. Like, I was 2 months behind on my pool note. I couldn't afford the chemicals for my swimming pools completely green. I was coming, and here's what did it in for me. Like, I was coming home from school one day, and my daughter said, "Daddy, can I get a candy bar?" And I couldn't even afford that candy bar. So that's where I was. But I knew that in this industry you can earn a lot of income, but I also know it's a work program. Like, nothing here is guaranteed. It is what you put into it. But as long as you're coachable and teachable and you pass the ball off to your leader, you can do amazing. So when I looked at this company, and guys, also my background, I'm personal trainer, nutrition, and exercise science. The products had to be perfect, right? So I love the products formulated by a team of naturopathic doctors. They're affordable, they taste good, all that stuff. Check the boxes. The leadership, guys, the leaders, like, I can't say the amount of income that the men that are on here that they make, like, it's insane. But all the leaders in the company work together to help take this company to $1 billion company. Our CEO, like, is traveling all around the country helping us. The leadership, the systems, the resource, like, all those things checked out. We pay back 55% back to the field, and most other companies in the industry pay 35%. So all that checked out. And Carly and Ricky on here, he's one of my leaders. It's like, Glenn, just pass the ball to me, bro. And that's all I did. We all think we have to know everything about Bravenly when we start to make money. You don't. I just said, who can I help physically, financially? Pass it off to Ricky. Pass it off to Carly. Took off. Within 2 months, guys, I was able to catch up on my mortgage. I've never looked back. And just like Jim said, within 11 months, I hit the top income rate in the income rate in the company. And now I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm completely debt-free. I'm doubling up on my house note. So it's been completely life-changing for me. But like I said, I love that men and women are doing it here. Uh, I know I only have 5 minutes, so I'm trying to chop a little bit. So, okay, product wise, I know we're not going to talk about products much. I just want to say it's helped me with my sleep, my joints from jumping out of airplanes in the military. I've lost 16 pounds, put on muscle, so it's completely changed me. That mushroom coffee gives me energy all day long. When you have a product that works, it turns over to finances. And here, look, here's the deal. It's about time freedom as well. Like, how many of us are in debt time wise? Like, we don't have time for our family. Like, do you get home from work and you're too tired to spend time with your family? I was talking to Jim the other day. 2 years ago, I took my family to Peru. We went to Machu Picchu. This past summer with Chicago, went to a couple of Cubs games. I just had so much time with my family that I wouldn't have had before. It's allowed me to be a stay-at-home dad. Take my daughter to volleyball practice. And then I'll just share one other thing about my daughter. So last year she had half of her lung taken out and she's in the hospital for 10 days. I was able to be there all 10 days with my daughter in the hospital. So, like, that's what this has allowed for me, time freedom. But, guys, here's the deal. If you're wanting to make a difference in other people's lives and your family's lives, I really think this is the opportunity for you. We have everything in place for you. And remember, real men do Bravenly and women too. But with that being said, I'll turn it over to Jim.
Well, that was awesome, Glenn. I'll tell you what, I took down a lot of nuggets, but I think the best one that you said of all is you've had time. You've had time with your family, time freedom. And that builds memories. Those are things you'll never regret. Unfortunately, when we don't have the time, we regret the time that we didn't have with the people we love. But you've replaced that. You've taken care of that. And now you're debt free and you're helping people physically and financially. Now we're going to take this call. We're going to go all the way up to the great state of Oregon, where we've got a football coach on here. He's literally came off the practice field to jump on here with you guys. So we have Gold Executive Vice President Tim Foster, he and his wife Carly, and Tim took the time out from coaching these young men to come in and coach you young men. So Tim, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Glenn, that was great. Mike, that was awesome. Yeah, like Jim was saying,
Oops.
okay, there we go. I'll start over, I guess. No, yeah, like Jim said, I'm coaching football, seventh and eighth grade up here in Oregon. And one of the things that's been cool is most of these boys, I've been coaching with them since they were in three and four or third and fourth grade, just watching them become men and watching them just grow up on the field. But one of the things that I can say that has really struck a note with me just recently has been all the dads that have come up to me and said, "Hey, when my son is at the game, our away games, can you make sure somebody's filming him? Because I have to work. I can't make it to my son's game. I can't be there because," and some of these dads have never missed a game. One dad literally borderline had tears in his eyes last night saying, "I've never missed one of my son's games until this year. I cannot get off and go watch my son play football." And I said, "Yeah, I can make sure that everything's being recorded. We can make sure." And one of the things that I talked to one of them about just yesterday, I said, "Man," because he said, "Oh, it must," that common phrase that sometimes guys will say to each other. It's like if they have a new car or whatever, they're like, "Must be nice." Well, one of the guys said to me as I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be at all the games." And he goes, "Oh, that must be nice." And I looked at him and I was like, "Bro, I would love to help you be at all your son's games. You obviously want to be a dad that wants to be there." So one of the things that I have learned is that, you know, yes, it doesn't happen overnight, but I can tell you the amount of work that we put into this has paid off tenfold. The expectation that I never thought I would be here at 2 o'clock every day in the afternoon, ready to coach football with these boys, getting to see my son become a little football player has been just incredible. I never once imagined where we were at just 10 years ago, I was in construction. I was just beating my head against the wall, trying to get projects done, coming home late at night, missing things that um, were near and dear to me. This morning, my wife and I were looking at pictures on the porch that came up in memories, and some of them I was brought to tears because I knew that I had missed out on some of the moments when my kids were younger. But now I'm able to be present with all of their stuff. I'm never miss a gymnastics meet for my girls, and I'm I get to drop them off every day. My get to wave at my daughter as she enters in to the meet. I mean, it's just incredible. So with that, what I can say is that this opportunity has brought not just time freedom for myself and my wife, but my kids have been able to experience it, and have been able to experience it from the aspect of seeing that their parents aren't just killing themselves in a rat race. I love what Jim said in the beginning about hi ho, off to work we go. I mean, that's where I was at, literally in the morning, at night. I remember sometimes leaving in the morning before my son got up and going, and he was already in bed when I would come home at night. And just today, like I said, it just brought tears to my eyes thinking about all the things that I had actually missed. So I'm just so grateful for this. Now I can say, not and I'm going to finish with this, but the greatest thing is being able to teach these men or these young men on the field how to become men and to be a positive influence on their life. So I see this not just immediately the effect, and my boys are actually trying to get my attention. They don't realize what I'm doing. I got some football players over here knocking on the window, but no, it's just been able to pour into them. I had and be in a spot where I never thought I would be. So, oh, there we go. Okay, one of the boys had dropped his watch before they filled, and I had to give it to him. I forgot I had it in his pocket. But anyway, yes, no, just absolutely loving to be and to be present, not just like I said earlier with my boys, and that threw me off, but these boys. Because I'm going to finish with this. 3 years ago, I got to the field, and one of the other coaches came to me and said, "Hey, just so you know, last night things got tough at that boy's home." And I said, "Oh, what happened?" He said his dad walked in, woke his son up at 2 o'clock in the morning, said, "This is too tough," and walked out. And that boy tonight is still on my feet, on my team. He's been with me. And as I got here tonight, he walked up to me and he dropped the ball on a pass and he ran over to me and I said, "Hey, I just want to know you did great. That was a great route." And he walked over, he goes, "I love you, Coach Tim." So I just want you to know that the impact is so much bigger than just your immediate family. It's everybody that you can come into touch, and it just changes everything. So
Well, that's
I'm going to
awesome.
leave it at that.
That's awesome, Tim. And that's one of the pillars of the company is impact. So you can see from what Tim said, the ripple effect of gaining freedom through this and what we can do. You know, it's been said that we in this company live opposite the world because the world's going one direction, we're going another. You know, at Christmas time, people are struggling to shop at the malls on the weekends. We're shopping at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, so we don't have to deal with the crowds. We're not getting in the traffic because you can live opposite the world here. Now, we're going to take this call to the great state of Texas. And you always hear that everything's bigger in Texas. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a guy down in Texas with a heart bigger than Texas, and that's Ricky Durant. He and his wife Jessica, they are executive vice presidents. They're actually platinum executive vice presidents. That's the biggest you can get in this company. And what that means is they decided to help a whole lot of people. Ricky, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Jim, for setting up this call, and Michael, Glenn, Tim, incredible. Hey guys, I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys. I'm not going to go into my story. I'll just tell you guys this that are new to Bravenly. Take a hold of that ball, that football, and just come into the team, okay? Because I want to talk to you guys directly at you guys that are now here or that are going to be watching this Zoom later on, maybe 3 months down the road, a year down the road. Guys, I was that guy that was looking at an opportunity because a buddy of mine had the courage to walk up to me at the gym as I was getting ready to do my first bodybuilding competition ever. I was working construction. I did not have time to do this business. Okay. So a lot of you guys are probably passing by somebody saying, oh, they're too good. They're an attorney. They got a business. They wouldn't do this. How would you know they wouldn't do this unless you ask the question? Okay. So I want to leave you with that for a second. Secondly, remember, I didn't have time. I wanted my time back. So a few weeks prior to me being at the gym, I was like, God, is this how my life is going to look? I'm grateful. I don't have an education. I didn't come from money. And I had a good corporate job working in the oil field down here in Houston, Texas, about 84 hours a week. I was grateful, but I didn't have time like a lot of the guys have been talking about on this call. Okay. So this is what I did. I said, God, if there's something else out there, show it to me. I walked into my daughter's room. I just so happened as this call was happening, I don't know why this picture popped up. My wife was cleaning up. This was my daughter's back then. I don't know if you guys can see the picture or not. They were 10 and 5. Okay. Whenever I started network marketing. Well, those babies, I had missed everything because I was working so much. And as I walked into my older daughter, the one in the red, I noticed that she was not a baby no more. So I started crying. And I said, God, if there's something else out there, show it to me. Here I am at the gym with the tough guys, right? And a buddy of mine walked into me and introduced me to direct sales. Guys, and I want to show you something real quick because you may be on the other side of this. You may be just looking at this. How do you win a championship as a rookie? Because if you're joining us, you're going to be a rookie in this business. The biggest advice that I can give you, I've been doing this for a decade, and I've been at the top of direct sales network marketing for 11 years. Okay? This is all I did. I said, Coach, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I'll run the route that you want me to run. I'll catch whatever pass you throw at me. I'm the rookie. I'm here to learn. Guys, I'm telling you, that's all there is to it. You have walked into a championship legendary team within this company. 80% of Bravenly Global is under this group of people. Okay? 80%. Imagine what this company is going to do. Most importantly, not in your life, because this ain't about us. This is about the impact that we're going to make in millions of people's lives. Guys, I want to go over numbers with you guys really quickly. In 2021, whenever I came in, no, 2021, the company launched in 2020 in December. In 21, they did $1 million. In 22, we came in and it had done $1 million by May. Then we helped the company get to $9 million by the end of 22. In 23, the company did $19 million. In 24, the company did 50 million. In 25, we did 102 million. And I believe that we've already passed that this year in August. Okay. So think about what's happening here, guys. Exponential growth is happening because of you guys. Okay. We are just out here serving people, bringing hope into people's lives. And this is what I get to do. So people go, you don't have a job? And I said, I have the best job in the world. I get to serve people like Jesus did. That's what I feel like. Every morning, I'm like, God, put me in front of the person that I'm supposed to talk to today. And I talk to people with excitement. And I envision what their life is going to look like if they take a chance. Because I want to tell you guys this. This will be the hardest thing that you'll ever do in your life. But I promise you this, that if you don't quit and you stay consistent and you come in as a rookie into this legendary football Super Bowl champions, we will beat every championship team that has ever been created in all of network marketing. Mark my words. Okay. Why do I say that? Numbers don't lie, guys. 300 years of network marketing experience in the company already. Collectively, all together, if we were to combine our team sales, is billions upon billions in team sales. So why Bravenly? Ask yourself, why not? And get back with the person that invited you to this call because they loved you enough to say, hey, you got to come take a look at this. We are very early on. We're at the hockey stick on where this thing is about to take off and it's never going to look back. And you're going to look back and go, man, I was on that call back in August 27, 2026. I remember that call. Guys, thank you so much for being on tonight. We love you, appreciate you. And thank you, Mr. O'Hickey, for setting up this call. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Ricky. And I can't add anything to that other than say, as Ricky already said, get back with the person that put you on here. Be teachable, be coachable. If not Bravenly now, then what? You have your hands on a company that is showing explosive growth. Good night, everybody.